This is a download from BFM 89.9, the business station.
BFM 89.9, this is the evening edition. You're with Uma and Ezra, and this evening we'll be discussing the role religion plays in politics, culture and democracy in the modern world. And with us this evening is Dr. Reza Aslan, an internationally acclaimed writer and scholar of religions. He's the author of the #1 New York Times bestseller, Zealot, The Life and Times of Jesus of Nazareth. Aslan's first book is also an international bestseller, No God But God, The Origins, Evolution and the Future of Islam. It was named one of the 100 most important books of the last decade. It has been translated into 13 languages, including Malay, Tiada Tuhan Melainkan Allah, which is available in all good bookstores.
He's also the founder of AslanMedia.com, an online journal for news and entertainment about the Middle East and the world. Aslan's degrees, now wait for it, include a Bachelor of Arts in Religious Studies from Santa Clara University, a Master of Theological Studies, History of Religions from Harvard University, a PhD in Sociology of Religions from the University of California, Santa Barbara, and a Master of Fine Arts from the University of Iowa.
You can take a deep breath now.
In August 2000, Aslan was named Visiting Professor of Islamic Studies at the University of Iowa, making him the first full-time professor of Islam in the history of the state. Currently, he is Associate Professor of Creative Writing and Cooperating Faculty in the Department of Religion at the University of California, Riverside.
We have Dr. Reza, who's based out in California, with us on the line right now. Reza, thanks for taking the time to speak to us on BFM.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be on the program. Thanks for having me.
Reza, at the center of the current controversy here in Malaysia is the word Allah. And, of course, over here there have been many clerics, scholars, historians who have given their 2 cents worth on the origins and usage of the word. What is your take on it?
My take is the historical take on it. It's not an interpretation. It's a historical fact. Allah is a construction of the word Al-Ilah. That's what the word is. Al-Ilah means the God. Allah is not the name of God. Frankly, anyone who thinks Allah is the name of God is not just incorrect, but going against the Quran itself. It's almost a blasphemous thought to think that God has a name. Allah is just a word that in Arabic means God. It means every God. In fact, we know for a fact that Christians and Jews in the Arabian Peninsula before the time of the Prophet Muhammad referred to their God as Allah. Why? Because they spoke Arabic. That's why. Not because Allah meant a specific God, but because it is nothing more than the Arabic word for God. That's not an opinion. That is a fact.
So you tweeted with some amusement as to the absurdity of our recent court ruling prohibiting the use by non-Muslims, and you said that the equivalent would be for the US to ban the word twerking by anyone over the age of 17. Why do you find that? Why do you find that so ridiculous?
And Uma's referring to the prohibition, not so much twerking.
Yeah. Let me just be clear. I think the word that I used was not ridiculous, but stupid.
That's right.
And I use this word as I am deadly serious about this. To think that somehow Muslims own this word Allah, that somehow Allah refers to a specific God. Allah, as I said again, is just the word for God. And this idea that not only should this Christians not be able to use the word, but that using the word is somehow a threat to Islam. That Malaysians are so stupid that if they hear a Christian use the word Allah, they'll accidentally become Christians. I mean, the idiocy of that statement speaks for itself. And frankly, I think it's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to a modern, constitutional, democratic, and yes, deeply Muslim state like Malaysia that belongs in the first world, not this kind of idiotic stuff that one would expect to see in a place like Saudi Arabia.
And that's the thing. I guess trying to get into that a little bit more, as read from the summary judgment by the Court of Appeal, the court ruled that the use of the word Allah was not an integral part of the faith and the practice of Christianity, and thus as you mentioned, if such usage were to be allowed, it would inevitably cause confusion within the community and hence would threaten the peace of the country. Now, in Malaysia, the Malay Muslim...
how can you read that and not laugh?
Well,
how can you read that and not
I'm a professional that way, but but the point is, in Malaysia, the Malay Muslim community had appropriated the word Allah for themselves. Now, I guess, does the idea of a community taking ownership of a word supersede the historical and etymological context behind said word?
Historically, the answer is no. Culturally and etymologically, the answer is no. But most importantly for Muslims, theologically, the answer is no. Any imam that tells you that God has a name is blasphemous. It's as simple as that. Allah is not God's name. Muslims do not own the word itself. Allah is, if you look at the Bible in Arabic, God is referred to as Allah. I mean, it's just, even in Iran, which doesn't speak Arabic, God is referred to as Allah as much as he's referred to as Khoda. It's just the notion that you can control people's ideas, their behavior, their faith, their minds, simply by trying to control the words that they use is absurd. And the other thing, I just have to come back to this again. It's an embarrassment. I mean, it's shameful, really, more than anything else. It's not worthy of a great country like Malaysia. This idea, which is beyond, the pale of what a modern democratic state should be discussing, even, just casts this negative light on a country that, as I said earlier on, is a model for Muslims around the world. And yet, this has made it a laughingstock. And I want to be as clear to your audience as I possibly can. We are laughing at you.
When you draw comparisons with what the court decision is saying, and of course, say a foreigner comes in to the country and has been using that word because they know no other word to describe God, then of course it is absolutely crucial and essential to the practice of their faith, whatever that faith may be, whether it's Christianity or Sikhism, for example, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And of course,
both of which, by the way, use the word Allah.
That's right. I think there's something like 56 instances of the word Allah in the Sikh book. And in that context, the people of Borneo, which this judgment targets, know no other word for Allah.
That's right. And again, I have to come back to this one thing, because there's obviously, look, I get it that there are political machinations taking place here. I understand that this court is not exactly independent of the executive branch. I get a little bit about how Malaysian politics works. I get that. I know that this was a political decision more than anything else. But I want to talk about the other aspect of it, which is that this notion that somehow Muslims in Malaysia need to be protected. Oh, you poor, poor people. You need to be protected by the court because you can't think for yourself. You can't make decisions on your own. I mean, I believe that one of the justices said something to the effect of that this is, a threat to Islam. And, my response, of course, this decision came out on the same exact day in which we had this horrible Eid al-Adha massacre in Pakistan.
That's right.
Where a Taliban member put a bomb inside of a Quran, took it into a mosque on one of the holiest days on our calendar, and slaughtered Muslims. And you want to talk about a threat to Islam? That's a threat to Islam. A Christian in Malaysia using the word Allah to mean God is not a threat to Islam.
Reza, thank you for speaking to us here on the evening edition. Hopefully you'll get to visit us here at BFM in Malaysia. It's, I understand, it's equally as sunny as it is in California. So thank you for your time.
I hope to be there soon.
That was Dr. Reza Aslan, scholar and New York Times best-selling author, on the line exclusively with us from California, discussing the many issues related to Islam, politics, culture, and democracy. We hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as we did.
And if for some reason you missed the interview, you can, of course, head over to bfm.my to download the podcast, download the BFM app on your iPhones. We'll also be posting it up on the Evening Edition Facebook page as well.
That's on www.facebook.com/EE on BFM.
This has been the Evening Edition, BFM 89.9.